We are live and we are alive. There is a person who unfortunately is not live and alive, as a matter of fact. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me tremendous pleasure, but also somewhat a little bit of displeasure, and I'll get into that in a second, to report to you that a man that is perhaps one of the most consequential war criminals of our lifetime, of our generation, a man whose name should be in the halls of evil, alongside the Henry Kissingers and, dare I say, even the Adolf Hitlers of the world. A man that goes by the name of Richard Bruce Cheney, also known as Big Dick Cheney, also known as Tricky Dick. Born on January 30th, 1941, an American politician and businessman who served as the 46th Vice President of the United States of America, has died. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The dick is down. Packwatch, R.I.P. Bozo, get fucked, fuck you, Dick fucking Cheney, flaccid dick. God damn, what a fucking morning to wake up to. Woo! Woo! That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna talk extensively about the background for those of you who were maybe oblivious to what the fuck the American government was doing on the global war on terror, the illegal occupation of Iraq, the illegal occupation of Afghanistan, all of the extraction of natural resources, tens of millions dead, or tens of millions displaced and millions dead, all because of one man's evil ambitions. The tricky dick is down, folks. The tricky dick is down as of the 3rd of November, last night, where Dick Cheney passed away. I mean, what can you say? Woo! The man with 7 different heart transplants. The man who was kept alive by the marvels of medicine, perhaps for far too long. Dick Cheney is now dead. Yeah, Dick Cheney is a horrifying individual, and it was not a part of my predictions for 2025, so I'll take the L on that, because I've always been an evil never dies type of person, and unironically, I have often used Dick Cheney as the example for how evil never dies, and today, or I guess yesterday technically, is the last time that I can use that example, because yesterday, last night, this morning, whenever you want to fucking call it, evil did die. Except evil didn't die in the way that it deserved to, rotting away in the basement of The Hague or wherever, supermax security style prison you normally would put an evil war criminal such as Dick Cheney for the metric ton of crimes that he engaged in. Unfortunately, for all of those who enjoy real justice, he passed away, I suspect, surrounded by his friends and family. A pleasure that, or a right, really, that he took away from millions of people. Now, you guys know I'm not Mr. Single Man Theory. I don't believe in the great man theory at all. I don't usually lay the blame or responsibility of the actions of empire gently on the shoulders of one man. Having said that, however, there are unique figures in American history that are pivotal, that have greatly accelerated the evils of capital, and Dick Cheney certainly is one of those people. I usually have a special place for people like Ronald Reagan, 666, descendant of the devil, but also Dick Cheney as well. Dick Cheney is an exceptionally cruel, monstrous individual, a horrifying puppet master, who is responsible for so much evil in this world and so much of the destabilizing factor of the Bush-Cheney administration can still be felt. The reverberations can still be felt. And, you know, obviously we had to do a Packwatch RIP Bozo for the absolute fucking worst monstrous dipshit. Dick Cheney, for those of you who don't know, I guess, is a major advocate of the unitary executive theory. A lot of the things that you see in the Trump administration that you look at and you go, why the fuck is no one doing anything? Why is no one stopping this? Like, Dick Cheney was so incredibly formative in advancing these causes. Everything that you fucking hate about Donald Trump, the lack of control, the lack of pushback, seemingly this almost monarchic style construct that we have in what remains of the ashes of American democracy. Dick Cheney was the accelerant. Okay, I cannot begin to explain to you how evil of a fucking person he was. And I know that all around the world right now, especially in the Middle East and North African region, there are millions of people that are celebrating the death of a man that was able to escape justice until his very last breath. So while we do celebrate for a brief moment that evil has died, just remember that unfortunately no justice will ever be served. So, you know, my celebrations are somewhat tempered in that regard. Something to consider, something to remember. And if you see the organs of media hail this man as a champion, remember that they are fraudulent. Remember that this is a moment where they're showing their asses collectively. The endless need, the desire to engage in this hagiography of truly evil deities, mankind's worst ambitions, personified in this disgusting, monstrous format in Dick Cheney, and all of these fucking people will turn around and act as though the lives that he took because of his ambition, so that he could turn a fucking profit for the defenders of capital, will always show you exactly what people's true ambitions are, okay? Remember that. But he endorsed Kamala before he died? Yeah, I don't give a fuck, dummy. That's worse for Kamala Harris than it is a savior for Dick Cheney. That is the level of evil that he is. It's like saying Adolf Hitler endorsed Kamala Harris. Okay, would that mean that Adolf Hitler is good? Or does that mean Kamala Harris is bad? Because there is a threshold of evil that once you go beyond, you are somewhat irredeemable. I said, genuinely one of the most evil people to exist in modern history. I cannot stress this enough. He got zero punishment for his actions, caused incalculable harm to entire regions, millions killed, tens of millions displaced, and he got to pass away quietly, surrounded by family. Something that he forcibly took away from millions, tens of millions, okay? Just remember that. What a glorious day regardless. Hopefully, we started off with Tricky Dick's passing with some good news in the morning, and it will continue on for the rest of the day. Is the movie Vice accurate depiction of him, or is it kind of dressed up? No, it is a fairly accurate depiction of Dick Cheney. As a matter of fact, one of the first people I texted this morning was Adam McKay. Literally, I woke up, I saw the news, and he was one of the first people that I directly texted. I was like, oh my God, Dick Cheney died. Vice is one of my favorite movies. I have shown bits and pieces of Vice on this broadcast on numerous occasions. It's, I think, a very good work to understand exactly the evils of Dick Cheney, but it's also one of the formative works to understand, like, the global war on terror, how we got here. It's fantastic. Yes, I do know Adam McKay. He is a friend of the show, and his movie I'm talking about, for those of you who don't know, is Vice. And it was an incredible movie, an incredible work that I think scratches the surface of American empire. Sam Cedar said it was too forgiving. I would say that, yes, if anything, it's a good way to basically lean Americans into understanding the evil doings of American empire. But there is definitely, I mean, he is so fucking evil. He is so evil that it is hard to put to text. It is hard to show in this kind of format when you have a start point and an end point, and you have to like make this ambitious work. You have to make this entertaining. It is virtually impossible to describe it without engaging in some kind of like surrealist structure to show the metric ton of awfulness that Dick Cheney brought about the world. It is not whitewashing Dick Cheney. I don't think Vice was whitewashing Dick Cheney, but I will say that it's a good starting point to understand how evil he truly was. Did you ever see the movie Vice with Christian Bale as Dick Cheney? Brother, that is precisely what I'm talking about right now. I literally just said that I texted the person who made the movie this morning. It was the first person I texted when I found out that Dick Cheney died. So, yes, I am very familiar. It's one of my favorite movies, and I think it's great. It doesn't show the full vision, the grand design, but it does. It's a good starting point for many Americans to help you understand the things that you experience on a daily basis that cause you harm, that cause you stress, where you go, why is this like... Why is this the way that this government operates? Why is there no one who is reasonable who can fucking put an end to any of this madness? When you look at all the shit that Donald Trump is doing on a daily fucking basis, you must remember that the Bush-Cheney administration, mostly shepherded by Dick Cheney, because Bush was more so a puppet figure, is quite literally responsible for it. Like it's Ronald Reagan, and then it's George W. Bush and Dick Cheney, more so Dick Cheney than even George W. Bush. This is not I'm not trying to abdicate any responsibility. I'm not trying to take away any of the responsibility and the blame from George W. Bush. But I will say that Dick Cheney was the mastermind behind a lot of these initiatives. He was the brain behind the operations, because George W. Bush certainly did not have many brains.